Today's opening tip. Yesterday, Donovan Mitchell joined Allen Iverson, our greatest living American, and Michael Jordan as the only guys to drop 50 twice in one playoff series. Richard, what has gotten into Spider Mitchell?
I don't know, man. He smells something out there. He smells something.
Blood? Is it blood?
It smells good to him. It smells very, like he's saying, I want this right here. So he's looking for these moments. There's a difference between wanting them and looking for them.
Woo, that kid's got great confidence.
Hey, this is knowing your opponent, baby. And he's
your
found some confidence in this series.
Oh, yeah. Look at that.
Welcome to The Jump. I am Rachel Nichols. I am socially distanced from my friends, a pair of NBA champions, 2016 champ, Richard Jefferson, six-time champ, Hall of Famer, Scottie Pippen. Scottie, the threads look good.
Look outstanding. You look outstanding right
Thank
now.
you.
Look outstanding.
Celebrating your guy. And here's some other celebration of Kobe Bryant, a day after his birthday. And, of course, today, Mamba Day, August 24th, 8:24. According to the president of the L.A. City Council, Figueroa Street here in downtown Los Angeles will soon be renamed Kobe Bryant Boulevard. That's between Olympic and Martin Luther King. If you know Los Angeles, that is the street that not only the Staples Center is on, our ESPN studio is on. I cannot think of a better tribute and a better way for us to drive into work every day.
That is awesome. I mean, well-deserved.
I didn't know that, but when I heard Figueroa, I was like,
Yeah.
that's a big street to switch the name up, and it is well-deserved.
Right, that's not just like the little side street in front of the arena.
No.
That is a major artery of downtown Los Angeles. Coming up later, we will honor Kobe Bryant with the top 24 Mamba moments. These are some fantastic highlights. Our producing staff has been working on these for a while, so stay tuned for that. But first, Luka Doncic is not afraid. He's not afraid to try, not afraid to shoot, not afraid of success, and not afraid of failure. And there's been some failure. Before last night, Luka had attempted 10 last-minute game-tying or go-ahead shots this season. And before last night, he had missed all 10 of them. And yet, there he was against the Clippers, the game in overtime, the momentum of his first-ever NBA playoff series in the balance. And no fear. First at the 50-second mark, Doncic drives by two-time Defensive Player of the Year Kawhi Leonard, oh, just him, to hit the floater. Woo! Then the spin move to give Dallas the lead with 19 seconds on the clock. Yeah, no biggie, just going to do that there. Marcus Morris then hits a clutch shot of his own after that. Watch this. He shoots up Maxi Kleber's shoes after, because of course he did. And in most games, that would have been the winner. But then Luka took the inbounds with less than 4 seconds on the clock, got the switch, and then, well, as Mike Breen put it,
three-pointer. Bang! Bang! It's good! Doncic wins the game at the buzzer!
that got the two bangs. Multiple direction changes before launching from 28 feet out. That's the second longest playoff buzzer beater ever. The shot not only tied the Mavericks and Clippers at 2 apiece in this first-round playoff series, it capped off a 43-point, 17-rebound, 13-assist night for Doncic, who played a career-high 46 minutes on an ankle he'd sprained only 40 hours earlier. You can see here in the locker room, Luka celebrated accordingly, and on Twitter, too. From Steph Curry, sheesh, Luka Doncic, that's ridiculous. Game blouses. LeBron James joined in. Bradley Beal, Trae Young. Legendary Boston Globe columnist Bob Ryan said, quote, I've seen every great player of the last 60 years, and Luka takes my breath away. And our friend Scott Cacciola from the New York Times, just imagine what he could do with 2 sprained ankles. Steph had actually been a virtual fan for this game. His brother Seth was one of the many Dallas players to step up in the absence of Kristaps Porzingis, who had been sidelined with a sore knee. But those players, they were good. Doncic was just insane. Here is Coach Rick Carlisle.
He's a guy that lives for these moments and is completely fearless. He sees the game in 6G. It's not 5G. It's 6G. It's another level beyond what most people see it. So, just a very, very special player. And this game today was, was from another planet.
And there's that word again, fearless. The irony, of course, is that fear is a big reason Luka plays for the Mavericks at all. Remember back when he was drafted, the scouting report was that while he'd been dazzling playing in the EuroLeague, winning Final Four MVP honors as a 19-year-old, there was, yes, a fear. He was already close to his ceiling, might not be able to adapt to the NBA game, and accordingly, he didn't go #1 overall, or even #2, but 3rd. And even then, It was Atlanta who selected him, then traded him to Dallas in exchange for picks that became Trae Young and Cam Reddish. We were on the air with The Jump that night, and at the time, all I kept saying was how striking it was to watch multiple front offices choose to play it safe, drafting good players who'd gone the conventional college route instead of taking a shot at greatness with Luka, even if it was, indeed, more risky. Fast forward 2 years, and it's the franchise that showed no fear that was rewarded and is set up for even greater rewards ahead. Luka Doncic has no fear, and isn't that fun for the rest of us? Scottie, Luka Magic, does it have you believing that the Mavs could upset the Clippers and win this series?
Wow, I mean, he's playing amazing basketball. I mean, especially when you talk about how he's dominating the Clippers. He's dominating some of the best defensive players that we've ever seen in our game. When you talk about Kawhi, when you talk about Paul George, when you talk about what the Clippers have done as a team overall, I mean, his confidence level has shot up in this series, knowing that, you know, he's playing the #2 seed in the West. You can't tell by looking at it. I mean, to me, he looks like he's the best basketball player on the basketball court. But not only that, he's playing with the most confidence. And that's what's got the Dallas Mavericks in this series.
That is a serious sentence on a court with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard on it.
Well, let's say Kawhi Leonard. We're not going to include Paul George in that conversation, not quite yet. But let's be really honest. Like even you said, he was 0 for 10. People were wondering how the Dallas Mavericks were the 7th seed. It's because they struggled to close games. Luka Doncic is one of the most talented guys we've ever seen, especially at this point in time in his career. But he was 0 for 10 before that shot. And for him to still be so fearless and want that ball, because he knows eventually it's going to turn around. He's going to start making these shots. And I believe in Luka. Mavericks, I don't think, not quite yet. Because I think eventually the Clippers will start to turn around. They will start to do some things. Trey Burke, who has been playing great, played amazing last game. Do I necessarily believe in Trey Burke to give those type of contributions consistently? No. But I believe in Luka, and I think the Mavericks have a chance. But I still stand by and think the Clippers will.
Okay, so to your point, going into this series, I think people would have had a conversation about whether Luka is above Paul George as the, quote, best player in the series. Kawhi first, definitely, but then where you would put Luka or Paul George going into the series might have been more a question. I know for the first 4 games, we'll talk about that in a second. What about around the league? So if I was going to say you had to win a game tonight, I'm not talking about building for the future. You have to win a game tonight. How many players are you taking ahead of Luka Doncic? Because he's a 21-year-old in his first ever playoff series. And if you give me anything less than 5 or 10 guys, I'm going to say that's some.
No, I think, you know, let's take KD and Steph, Clay, like guys that aren't in.
Would you take Clay?
No, but I'm just saying. Well, yes, because Clay in game wins. We talk about game 6 Clays. We talk about game 6 Clays. That man has done some absurd things. He has made a lot of people
sleep. I'm taking him over anyone.
But my thing is this. He hasn't faced an elimination game.
Right.
That was a very important win, but he hasn't faced an elimination game. So I'm not being critical of him. I'm just saying that he's still top 5. Right. I think there's the Bronze, there's a Kawhi's, there's a few guys that you would take over him, but he is yet to face an elimination game.
I'm just saying, though, he is up there. And
I think based on your question, what's going on inside of the bubble, there's not too many players that you would take over him. There's obviously guys that are playing well, Donovan Mitchell, Lillard, but hey, it's going to be hard to look over him.
Hard.
Ooh, all right, I do want to circle back to Paul George. After struggling in games 2 and 3 of this series, he had another rough day yesterday, guys, scoring 9 points, 3 of 14 from the field. Now, earlier today, Doc Rivers says that he wants George to shoot even more. Quote, I feel very confident about PG. Scottie, you weren't worried about Paul George when I asked you about him on Friday. You were saying just focus on the defense. Are you starting to worry about him now?
Well, I'm still thinking that if he get his defense going, he'll be better offensively. I think Luka Doncic is dominating him. I mean, I don't think neither him or Kawhi has taken on that challenge to say, hey, we're going to stop this kid, you know, using your fouls up, telling your big mans how to clog the lane. I mean, to me, he passes the ball when he wants to, and he's laughing at him when he passes it because it takes 2 or 3 of them to stop him.
No, I completely agree with Scottie. It's like he is by far the second best player in this series. Luka is. And if you're not shooting the ball well, just be like, all right, I'm playing defense nonstop. Right. Like, my goal is to try and slow this kid down because I don't think anybody's going to be able to stop him. But Paul George right now, it's either physical or mental. or both, which is a bad combination if you're not there mentally, if you're not there physically. So I don't know what it is. Do I believe in Paul George? Yes, I believe in him. I believe that over the course of winning a championship, you're going to have 2-3 bad games, bad has, foul trouble. But right now, I think there's some mental aspects to it, and I don't know about physically, but definitely mental.
All right, Scottie Pippen says that he can see Luka smiling at Paul George when Paul George comes to defend him. That's not what you want. Coming up, we're going to talk about the Sixers. They have been swept in the first round. Richard Jefferson is going to serve up some blame pie. Woo! First, though, here's a new daily segment